Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel again. So this video is going to be about how to pick a niche for your social media marketing agency. Now, I get this question quite a lot and people just seem to be overwhelmed by all the choices. They don't know what to pick. I'm going to use this video for somebody like a template as somebody that is a complete beginner that hasn't started yet. They don't have any previous experience and they're just trying to put together their foundations to the agency. So obviously a lot of people are starting at different levels, but I'm going to go from complete beginner and just make the video like way simpler. But basically, so how to pick a niche, you'll probably know of some of the main niches out there, and those are restaurants, gyms, and real estate. Now, one thing that I do get quite a lot is a few people that seem to be very nervous about whether these niches are oversaturated, whether there's so many other agency owners doing the same niches, and especially like on LinkedIn, that's sort of my main area of outreach, but I know this would apply to cold calling, cold emailing, the rest of it as well. They're worried that a lot of these people, a lot of these business owners will be getting contacted by multiple agency owners every single day for the same services, so they don't know whether that's too much competition and that they should choose a smaller niche, something that's more specific, to give them a better chance to sort of give them an edge to the rest of the competition. I would say there's not saturation with people that are doing it well. Like, there's a lot of people that are outreaching to them that maybe haven't executed on other aspects of their business or their online image that would cause a business owner to respond to them. I know that if I was, say, a gym owner and I was getting 10 people a day reach out to me for the same service, I'd probably stop looking at the offers, but I know I would probably check out who these people were that were messaging me. And if there was one that stood out that was really good and they had a bunch of testimonials and case studies of success from previous clients, I would still respond to that person, because even if this business owner is getting reached out to by loads of people, it doesn't mean that they still don't want to make like money and grow their business to the next level. So it depends on how you look at it, and I guess how much confidence and experience you have within that niche. A piece of advice that I would give before you even think about choosing an industry would be to maybe think about what you could learn the best in terms of, if you already know a little bit about a certain industry, if you know how to speak their language, how their brain sort of works within that industry, I would say choose that. Even if it's not a huge passion of yours, you shouldn't ever niche hop, but it doesn't mean that if you pick one industry, you have to stick to that for the entirety of your career. You could end up switching to a different niche. But basically you wanna pick a niche pretty quickly. You don't want to spend months debating it, because that's just going to defeat the purpose of you starting an agency and making money. It's not a huge deal breaker. I would just try and maybe weigh up the pros and cons of each industry, what you know more about, what you feel more comfortable in, and also whether you can deliver them results. If it's through an outsourcer, it doesn't matter as much, but if you are maybe learning the service yourself and you're going to deliver it yourself, think about which industry you would be able to deliver results for. Like, for example, I know in real estate, the funnel's a little bit more complex. It's a bit harder to get them results than it would be for a restaurant where you can do like a 2-for-1 on desserts. So if you're a complete beginner to Facebook ads, you have no idea what you're doing, you can't afford to get an outsourcer yet, so you're going to be delivering the results yourself. Maybe try and choose an industry that is going to be a little bit easier for you, and there's not going to be as many barriers that are going to stop you from getting your first client and sort of onboarding and providing results straight away. Let me think of like how I chose mine, because I kind of niche hopped quite a bit. I wouldn't recommend niche hopping to anybody out there, but I know with myself, when I wasn't getting results from a niche, I would just sort of blame the industry and be like, these business owners aren't responding to me, obviously they're not interested, like this industry, like gyms don't need me or restaurants don't need me, I'm gonna choose real estate instead. Don't do that. I would say that if you're not getting results from a niche that you've chosen, it's not the niche's problem. Like, it's not a fault with the industry, it's a fault with you and how either you're outreaching or how you've portrayed yourself online in terms of the presence that you have and what these business owners will see when they try and research you. When you choose a niche, you want to put in like a few hours of research, so you want to actually go out and find out about how these people behave, how they work, what they respond well to, what funnels work well for them if you're doing Facebook ads, what type of content they use if you're doing content creation, management, stuff like that. The more you understand a niche before you start, the more confident you're going to feel when you actually start approaching these business owners. But one side note for that piece of advice, that doesn't mean spend hours and hours and hours and days just researching about this person before you start outreaching. I've had so many people that have said, okay, I'm going to go away and I'm going to learn about this niche and then I'm going to start next week. It shouldn't take you 7 days to learn the basics of how you're going to reach out to somebody and what results work for them. There's so much information online. If you just go on YouTube or Google, you can find out everything about that industry and what works well for them for pretty much any service that you'd be offering through your agency. So don't use that as an excuse and give yourself a time limit for how long you're actually going to spend learning about your niche and sort of doing all of that stuff before you start doing your IPA. So actually outreaching and trying to bring the money in. So that's kind of like my biggest piece of advice would be don't procrastinate and don't delay yourself just trying to learn out about the industry, etc. If you are struggling with how to pick a niche, the best way for you guys to help each other, maybe within the community, if you pick a niche and you know someone else is in that niche as well, I would recommend maybe reaching out to them and seeing what worked well for them, what hasn't worked, and then maybe trying to get some pointers if you could. Obviously exchanging value is the best thing, so if you could help them out with something, maybe like cold calling, so you could reach out to them and be like, hey, I'd love to practice like my cold calling. If you want to practice as well, I'd really appreciate some pointers on the gym niche because I'm actually starting my agency, I'm starting in gyms and I don't know too much about it yet. So if you could like hop on a call together, do some cold calling practice, and then I could sort of grab some pointers off you while we're on the call. Just practicing and like putting yourself out there is going to give you way more return than staying behind your laptop and doing all the research. So that's kind of like my pieces of advice. I hope all the pointers that I mentioned sort of made sense. It's a hard question to answer with one sentence, but yeah, let me know if you have any questions below this video. I know it was a little bit of a shorter video, but yeah, I just wanted to try and get that information out there because it's a question that I've been getting asked quite a lot. So I hope that helped, and yeah, just comment below with any questions that you have from this video and I will see you guys again in the next video.